Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where we are currently working our way through some of this construction deficit that we've got going on here. And I definitely want to get some of this done. Once we complete these explosives factories, which I am actually going to move up in the queue a little bit here. I know I said previously that I wasn't going to, but I've changed my mind on that. Let's move up those explosives factories, and then once we have those done, I really think we need to get some government administrations going on here. So let's go into Campania. I'm going to queue up 4 of these for right now. And all of these are, of course, going to be moved to the top, like so. There we go. And then we'll move some of these railways right on up. So that's going to be something kind of like that. And then we'll get this one moved up. That's going to go, yep, right there. That's perfect. And then we'll do something like that. Okay. We really got to get some bureaucracy rolling in here so that we can get some institutions going. That's very, very important. So that's absolutely fine. A privatization of an explosives factory is great. We, of course, have a mounting debt here. And I'm keeping an eye on our current balance, and it's fine. We're not actually running into problems at this moment. Eventually, we'll run into a credit limit, but our economy has been growing at such a rate that our actual balance, discounting our interest payments, is not significantly shrinking. Now, funnily enough, and I don't intend to get political on this channel here, but funnily enough, this is the exact situation that the United States fiscal crisis finds itself in. I just think it's interesting that we're essentially modeling the same concept here, because we're approaching our debt limit. I mean, we're a ways away from it. But, I mean, in the case of reality, it's legislatively imposed, and they just vote to raise the debt limit every so often. And then they keep deficit spending for basically the same reason. Yeah, the interest payments keep going up. But as long as the GDP grows, it's not fundamentally a problem. Until it is. Until it is. And then it very suddenly becomes a problem. Our ruler just died, and that's absolutely fine. But, I mean, I don't intend to let it get to that point, to be clear. We are going to stop deficit spending at a certain point, and we'll flip this around. So I'm not very concerned about it. You can see our current deficit is about 50K, somewhere around there on average. And that's not too bad when you consider 36K of that is interest at this point. So all we need to do is stop investment for long enough for our debt snowball to start rolling, and then continue to expand our economy, and we're fine. We're in a glorious position at that point. So that's the goal. I don't intend to let a debt crisis snowball, but for the moment, it's not something that we want to take action on because we are better off continuing to grow our economy at this moment. We'll get there. There's a time and a place for spending down our debt, and that time is soon, but not yet. So we're negative in our bureaucracy, which is a little surprising to me. But we do have government administrations starting to come in. We'll probably need to queue up more than these 4, to be completely clear. So for now, this is absolutely fine. And a tooling workshop expansion in Lebanon, huh? That's probably worthwhile at a certain point anyway. Yeah, that seems absolutely okay. So a government administration just finished up, and we're going to want to continue to work on more of those. How are we doing on those shortages? Well, it's a lot lower. It's down to 9 shortages at this moment. And we do still have some standard of living issues, but in a lot of ways, our policies are going to go towards this. So that's why we're building these government administrations, to start to address that standard of living issue. Now, glass is currently expensive. That's interesting, because I don't think we massively increased our glass consumption, did we? Where do we have a glassworks? Where do we have a glassworks? Hang on. Here's one, in Lazio. So, I mean, Lazio isn't all that, yeah, in Palestine, that's what I thought. Yeah, we're just maxed out, okay. We could just use more glassworks. Okay, that's absolutely fine. I think Palestine is an absolutely okay place to put this. So how many do we want to build? Well, a lot, probably. Let's keep going until our earnings are negative for now. That's pretty significant. 13 of them. That's very significant. I'm going to move these on up like so, and then we can bring this railway up here. And I'm just going to bring that railway right on down and position that about right there for now. I would love to intersperse these. It's so tedious to move these around. I so wish you could drag and drop like you can in Hoi. It would be so much more convenient. Unfortunately, that's not how it works in Vic. It seems like it should be easy for them to implement, too. I don't know. Maybe it isn't. I mean, this is a different version of the Clausewitz engine, a substantially different version than the one that's in Hoi, but I would think that the UI API wouldn't have changed all that much, right? I would think. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. I've never worked in the Clausewitz engine. But let's just move this right on up for now. We're just interspersing these, and we'll get them done soon enough. Tedious? Yes. Doable? Also, yes. So we'll just do something kind of like that. Okay, there we go. So that's a lot of glassworks. No doubt about that. So we see that our government administrations are finishing up. We're back up to about where we were, and that's noted. So how are we doing on our debt crisis at this moment? Our balance has definitely dropped a little bit. I'm not surprised about that with these government administrations going in. So that seems fine. We're probably going to want to queue up a few more government administrations, maybe not all in Campania. What do we have over here for economy of scale compared to our cap? I'm assuming government administrations get economy of scale, right? Hang on. Where are we? Government administrations. Yeah, so economy of scale up to level 30 at this moment. We are currently at plus 11. So we can definitely expand this by a lot. Although it is minus 28.9% construction efficiency, but government administrations are quick to build. That's not actually a big problem. I just want to use up some of these peasants. That's the idea. So I'm going to queue up how many more of these? We could do 19, but I'm only going to do, I think, 4 at a time. So I'll do something like this, and I want to definitely be working on these railways at the same time. It's very important that we get these railways finished. But you can see these are only 5 weeks to construct the government administrations, so that seems relatively fine. But I really want to get going on some institutions. A big one for us is education. I want to get that going as soon as possible. Law enforcement would be good. Literally all of these would be good. We want all of them. But education is a big priority. So as soon as we can, we're going to start working up basically all of them, and then we're going to just work on upkeep on our bureaucracies as needed, is the idea. So that put us up to 337. That's not enough to move up yet. We need 358. So we're going to have to get this government administration done. Actually, we're at 382. Hang on. Okay, so we can only go up by 1 here, but I'm going to do this for all of these, and we're just going to get started on them. We're going to have to do upkeep on it. That's absolutely understood. We're going to need to build more government administrations, but that's okay. So we do have another government administration finishing up here soon enough. 0.2, okay. There we go. So that government administration is now done. That's excellent. I'm going to move these glassworks up a little bit. I do definitely want to have glassworks be underway at this point. I'm not going to go through the whole list. It's okay. But there we go. That'll do. Now, we want to get these moved up to higher levels than this. Ideally, education gets moved up, and we would really, really like to move, well, all of them eventually. But for now, let's get going on that. Getting institutions up is a very big priority for us. But I do think we're going to want more government administrations, and let's get going on that. I'm going to build 5 in Campania this time. I do still want to be working on the railways and the glassworks. So we'll just intersperse these. It's fine. There we go. So we finish up some railways there. That seems good. We're down to 7 local shortages at this moment. That's really, really good. We've been making solid progress on that. We're not done with it, but very solid progress. We're now the number 5 GDP in the world. Our per capita GDP, not great, but that's absolutely understood. Now, how's that debt crisis doing? Well, we're going to run into problems on this. Pretty soon, we're going to run into problems on this. Okay. I'm still going to build. We're going to keep building for now. We're definitely butting up against a problem, but we're not there yet. And the more that we can build before we have to pause our construction long term, or at least medium term, the better. So let's get this railway in Tuscany finished up. I'd love to get all of these railways built at the very least by the time this is done. To be honest, I'd love to get all of this built, but I don't think we need the universities yet. But we'll need them soon enough as we continue to work on building this up. So that's absolutely understood. 603 bureaucracy required for that? Okay. So we do need more government administrations than what we queued up there. That's understood. Yeah, we need more government administrations. Let's go. Let's get 4 more. Oh, look at that. We no longer have any construction inefficiency in Campania. That's delightful. I'm very, very happy about that. So we're going to get these finished nice and quick. You can see our bureaucracy is just steadily being eaten up as we adopt these institutions. And that's not surprising. This is going to be continually more and more expensive, and that's going to be painful. But that's absolutely understood for right now. It's not a huge issue, but it will be. It will become an issue. No doubt about it. Let's go ahead and work this up to level 3 at this time across the board where we can. We can't do that for home affairs. And then this is going to need 921, and this is going to need 1280 bureaucracy. Okay. So that's noted. We are going to need more government administrations. So 1280 bureaucracy. Each of these is 65 bureaucracy. So how many do we need? 775 minus 1280 gives us negative 505. Plus 65, and then that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's minus 245. So we would still need 245 divided by 65, which would be, that is, no, hang on, I did this wrong. 245 divided by 65. There we go. Somehow it got minus 505 mixed in there. So we need an additional 4 beyond this. So that's what we need. Let's get them done. Out of the way. Done and dusted. I want them out of here. We're going to have major, major fiscal issues shortly because we're massively increasing our amount of government costs. That's understood. I'm keeping an eye on that balance. It's still healthy, but we're going to need to do something about that soon. So we're now up to 934. I'm going to upgrade these to level 4, and all we need now is law enforcement up to level 5. We'll have that very, very shortly here. There we go. Okay. We're not going to build any further government administrations beyond these 2. And there we go. That is done. So we have some unrealized taxes. I don't think this is a taxation capacity issue, is it? If it is, I'm going to be sad. No, it's not. Okay. That would then be an unrest issue. That's okay. So, we're going to continue to construct here. We've got 19 months at this point. I'm going to cancel all of these universities. As of right now, they are not necessary. They will be necessary later, but we're not going to want to build them this cycle. So I'm going to cancel those. We've got 10 months of construction left in our queue. I want to wrap up this queue. I want it completely done. And then we can start paying off this debt. You can see our credit limit was raised. That's because our GDP keeps growing. But our balance is getting really rough here. to the point where I don't know that we can continue to build for much longer. We could crank taxes. We need 10 months here. A temporary tax crank may not be the worst idea that I've ever had. I really want to get these constructions done before we pause. But it's dangerous. That said, most of that is because of the price of paper. The price of paper is insane right now. And I'm assuming we're subventing paper. Let's check here. Yeah, we are. And we're almost certainly going to want to build some additional paper mills. So we could build them in Campania, and this is actually a really good spot to build it. So I'm going to queue up... no, not there. Where did that go? That was Middle Egypt. I'm going to queue this up in Campania specifically. I'm going to sort by name. And we're going to go in Campania, and we're going to build enough here that it's no longer positive. But this is going to be dicey in terms of timing. That's 19 of them. Okay. Let's move these up to the top. Finish those up. And work on paper mills for a little bit. If we can drop the price of paper, that would absolutely substantially help us and let us build for a lot longer. That's the idea here. We can see our bureaucracy very rapidly tumbling, and this is expected as we work our way through raising up our institution levels. So that looks good. We are on our way to the cap. Joint stock companies have been unlocked. So at this point, what's available? Munition Combine, Combined Israeli Forestry Company, Palestine Home Goods, and Hejaz Premium Chemicals. Loyalists from political movements would be nice. Okay, so we'll establish that. That looks okay. As of right now, our transportation is still a problem. We're going to get these constructions finished up first. That's the goal. We see that our balance is still positive as of right now, so we're not in just absolutely dire straits yet. We'll get there. And what do we got here? Sure, he's earned this job. So I do want to move railways up to the maximum. I want to prioritize these last 2 railways. So we're going to do something like this, but I do want to have these paper mills go in relatively quickly because we need to get them done. We need to get some paper mills rolling here. So that looks good. I see a private construction steel mill and a coal mine going in. Those are fine. And these paper mills are absolutely going to get done soon enough. These railways are as well. There's our home affairs, our education, our law enforcement, our colonial affairs, and our health system investment all going up. That is excellent. 4.22K. We gotta get this paper under control. We can see right now that the price of paper is only plus 9%, but we have a huge demand for paper as of right now. So we're going to get that dealt with, and we're going to have 6 weeks here, but as you can see, building all those paper mills definitely boosted up how long it's going to take to get through this queue. I'm going to move up some of these glassworks. I'd like to intersperse the glassworks and the paper mills and kind of alternate between them. I like to do that, you may have noticed. And this is going to be tedious because this is not an ideal way to do things. Okay, that's fine for now. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the paper mills, I'm going to put a few of these at the bottom, and then we'll start moving these up like this. I think that'll be a little bit more convenient of a way to do this. And then once these are put in, something like, we need one more there? Yeah. Something like that. What is this? Kermanshah wants their own market? Sure. Once those are in, then we can come in here and look at these paper mills here and just move them to the bottom, like that. There we go. So that looks good. These railways are going to be done. We're running a huge deficit right now. Balance is still okay, but we got to get that dealt with. Let's get some paper mills going. That will absolutely do something about this price of paper. A train robbery. I don't actually care about authority. That's fine. So we're going to get some paper mills finished up here shortly. These railways are going to all be done. So this should be the final 5 that we need here. And at least we have a base level of railway in all of our states. What are we getting here? This is mutual funds. That's going to be a big deal for us, actually. We've almost got mutual funds, and that's going to cut our interest payments substantially and give us more minting. So that's going to be huge. We got a couple of paper mills done there. And that should drop the price of paper somewhat. We see the price of paper is indeed starting to go down. So that looks good. Apparently we have a Glassworks positioning issue here. There's mutual funds. That's enormous. Okay, I want to move up these last couple of Glassworks here. Something like that. Okay, what do we want to go for here? I'm currently leaning towards maybe a society thing. Something like perhaps identification documents. That would lead down this direction. Investment banks would be not really ideal. International exchange standards is a long research. Maybe we should just clear up some of these back over here, like organized sports. It's not a huge deal, but let's get that going for now. So our literacy should be starting to come up at this point, now that we're starting to invest in our education. That'll be good. And we're almost done with our railways at this point. But where are we at now here? 18.5. Ooh, that was very impactful. Okay. That's a very big deal. That is a very, very big deal. At this point, I think we're more likely to hit our credit limit than we are to flip our balance. That is good. Ukrainian Somaliland. Rude. Very rude. Oh, well, whatever. It's okay for now. We've got other things to worry about. So our railways are almost done at this point. We've only got 2 local transportation shortages. Beautiful. Our railway in Apulia will be done in 5 weeks here. And apparently a transportation shortage in Algiers, which is surprising to me. Right up over here. Well, we just need to hire people in here. That's not a problem. That's a fake problem. So that seems absolutely fine. We've got some paper mills coming online in Campania, and we're starting to work on those glassworks in Palestine again. So that looks good. This is still very spicy. Very, very spicy. But I want to just run this out at this point. We've got all of those inefficient constructions dealt with. We are low on our government administrations at this time. We've got 32 government administrations in Campania. We are past the economy of scale there. So we should be building probably in Syria. I'm only going to build 1, but I'll put it right at the top of the queue. Armenia wants control of their own market. Yeah, that's fine. There's no connection here. Looks good. So we're going to get that finished. That'll bring our bureaucracy back positive. This is not moving right now because we don't have enough bureaucracy for it. So we definitely want to get that fixed. Okay, so we're still slightly negative, but that should improve a bit anyway. Yeah, 26.4. It's better. So we're going to continue to work on getting all of this built. That's fine. We've got 13 months left in this construction queue. I want to run this construction queue to the end, and I don't really want to add too much more to it other than the occasional government administration to keep us positive, and it looks like we're going to need another one of those, to be honest. So let's put another one in Syria for right now. So we'll just toss that in there. We're 12 months away from finishing this construction queue at this time. The goal is to finish this construction queue and then pay off our debt. That's the dream. We'll see if it ends up actually happening. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to see about getting all of this finished up. Shouldn't be too bad. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and United States of Europe. Well, okay then. The HRE is now the United States of Europe. Okay. That's exciting. A very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Rornaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.